Hello, Facebook land. So, May the 4th at 4 is finally here. I'm Liz Jarvis, you probably know that, and we have 20 viewers already. And this is my great friend Shane. He also mentors me. We met 30-something years ago when I first did his tax return. And then the universe brings us together every now and then, particularly in the last 6 or so years. I'm very, very excited. My book has launched and lots of you are here to help me get to Amazon #1 bestseller. Isn't it amazing? This has been quite a journey.
And I am a rebel, let me tell you. I'll rebel against anything.
I had been jealous of Shane's ability to have such clarity on his principles. Shane is a shaman and knows his principles off by heart, and he quotes them often. And that leads to another funny story, that in the process of having my foreword written by Jack Delosa, who I admire greatly, when I got the foreword back, it said in the foreword that you should embody the principles.
Embody the principles.
Embody the principles in this book. Don't just read this book, absorb it. Truly understanding and applying the principles captured in the Financial Rebellion will set you and your business free. And my favorite is, accounting is not maths, it's storytelling. And when I got that idea, that really opened the floodgates for me in terms of helping business owners to understand that their financials are their story. It's just telling the story of their own business. So they've been really deprived of using that story because they have that feeling that they can never understand it. And I've proven in the last 5 years or so, as I've developed particularly my financial mentoring practices, that every business owner can understand it, and they can understand it quite quickly. And that's what this book is about. This book is about being able to provide that guidance without them actually being my client. So if you read this book, it'll be a little bit like sitting with me. It's a bit of a memoir too. It's my journey to working out how to help business owners understand. You kind of can't get it without the journey. And then it spells out some principles.
On that note, Liz, can you share what motivated you to start this rebellion?
It actually starts at the Entourage. The Entourage, if anyone doesn't know, is a learning space for entrepreneurs. And I first joined it back in 2015. And I found myself there thinking the accounting system is broken, because when I talked to the other 150 or so people in the room each month, they really mostly didn't know anything about their financials. So that was what kicked this rebellion. But it started out, I was just a meek and mild chartered accountant that didn't like to get in anyone's way and lose my voice.
How did this revelation that the accounting systems broke, how did you process that, and how did you respond to that?
I'd kind of seen it coming, to be honest, and that was why I'd left public practice. It truly made me angry, apart from anything else, and I wanted to come up with, as I said before, a solution. I actually did some crowdfunding. I called it Suck the Scare from Accounting. I crowdfunded to do a little course, and I had about 10 people come through that course, and it was awesome. And then I learned from the Entourage is going to succeed in getting lots of people looking at their numbers, and then accounting won't be broken anymore.
Correct.
Because business owners will know once more that they are the most important user of the story, that it's their responsibility, and that their accountants can do so much more for them if they already engage with that financial information and pass it through fully functioning to the accountant. I felt ashamed, really ashamed, that our industry had got to the point where we just weren't helping people anymore. Like, I always, even when I trained early as an auditor, like people are terrified of auditors, but always as an auditor, I saw my role to, I talk a little bit about this in the book.
What stops people from reaching their potential and following their passion? Because what you fear owns you, right? And I think people in the medical field and all these
lawyers,
lawyers,
all the professions are under.
Everybody's experiencing a shift and change and seeing through, the veil. And so it would have been pretty scary, Liz. So embracing the challenge to do something about it.
But I'm hoping they'll warmly embrace my idea, because it is about bringing the power back to the business owner, and that's who we serve. And in fact, the lives of accountants and bookkeepers will be improved when their business owners are engaged with their financial information. Well, that's my theory anyway.
So technically, majority of business people, and this is my, cause I work with a lot of business people, they're flying blind.
They are flying blind. They're flying blind because they don't have enough faith in their own knowledge to use the financial information, because sometimes business owners are in business for whatever reason, but they've lost sight of that, and they're not making money, and they're not getting any support to make better decisions about what's going on. So we should not be disconnected from the story of our business, whether or not we're making a profit or whether or not we're paying too much tax. But most people are disconnected from that. And my rebellion is about not allowing that to be the status quo anymore. We're actually fighting against the status quo, because in the status quo, your power has been taken. You have no financial power because you've abdicated it to everyone else. Delegation is okay. Delegation happens when you understand what you're asking your team member to do. But abdication, you just cannot afford to do in any area of your life, not medically, not, in law. We've kind of lost the thing that when working with professionals, our job is to engage them to do a task, but our job is to give them instruction as to what we want done. And so that abdication kind of attitude means the business owner isn't instructing and isn't getting value.
So Liz, just back to some questions. You mentioned that you felt ashamed of the accounting world when you had this epiphany, this realization, this revelation. So that feeling of shame, was that a part of the fuel that led to the financial rebellion? Like, how did you channel that?
Well, I think the shame probably came even more heavily later, when I realized that most business owners, not only were they not looking at their numbers, but they felt this immense anxiety around their numbers. So I became ashamed that our industry was unable to help people in this space of anxiety. But worse still, that our industry was sometimes creating that anxiety. I was in, and I talk about how this came to be in the book, and I realized that a lot of my clients got a level of reduced anxiety, a bit of improved mental health as a result of working with me. And I said this in the group, in the breakout group that I was in, and I really got fantastic feedback from that. And then we went back into the main room and they shared that as well. It's no wonder they're terrified of their financial statements. Quite often when we get in there, they're like, this can't be right, this can't be right. And that's where I discovered that they always had the power. They just need a safe space to explore and get curious.
But what inspires you to, you're a mum, you had a sick child, your whole journey, anyone who knows it's pretty amazing. What inspires you to start this whole thing about empowerment and rebellion?
Actually, empowerment has always been within me. I recall teaching kids to ride a bicycle, and my sister Lou is is here in the audience, I think. She might remember. I was thinking about this the other day. I used to teach some kids to ride their bicycle in our backyard. And then I think it's also been nurtured with a lot of Stephen Covey's works. I've read a lot of Stephen Covey's books, you know, humanity and helping people out. And then, you know, I've gradually moved into more of the woo-woo spiritual side of things and got even more determined to help people. And
I think another word to throw in there with empowerment is nurturing. I think
yeah.
you do that so well. I know with your clients, you do it with the people around you. You even do it with me. And that's just the nature of who you are, Liz. And I don't think you can create something like this, a rebellion, without... So it's not just about passion and empowerment. It's about love, because love's the ultimate power in the universe. And truth, authenticity, it's about caring. It's about caring enough to be empowered, right?
Caring enough to want to make a difference.
It will change your perspective, and you know, now is the moment of power. So whatever you do now changes your future. If you're challenged and frustrated, you know, you have two options. You can either become owned by that frustration, and or you can take that and help that empower you to your own, you know, creating your own change. You know, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, and that's exactly what Liz is doing here. She's creating a community and a financial rebellion. So we're not storming Parliament House. We're taking back our power as individuals. And so Liz, can you share a little bit about how you did that? Like, how did you move from the point of being frustrated to taking action? Because I think that's something that will help everybody, no matter where they are on their journey.
You have to really lean into yourself. And I think when you're on these journeys where things are not working out the way that you would like them to, you have to get out of your mind and into your soul and into understanding yourself better. So you have to let that go a little bit. And, you know, I guess I started leaning more into the universe too, into trusting the divine timing of things. Be the change. You know, that power comes from within is really important, to recognize that those answers are within me, that if I just sit still for a minute, they will come back out, instead of thinking I have to get it perfect and, you know, exactly the right words I had yesterday. There's a few words up on the board here because there's words I forget. There's that deprived word, and there's the other big word, which was expediency. Because expediency is what's happened to the accounting industry, and expediency removed the meaning from financial statements.
And this has stuck with me, and I share it with everyone I work with and anyone who's prepared to listen, because it has helped me so much. And that is that truth, your truth, is written on the tablet of your heart. And, you know, you only have to prepare lies, because the truth is always within you. So, you know, when we go within, because all power comes from within, when we go within and listen and listen deeply enough to find our own truth, we always get the answer. It's a tool.
Write a book to be a business card. This is not a business card. This is to help millions.
Yeah, this is a tool. It's a key to freedom, and it's a key to empowerment.
So see this beautiful horse and rider, and so she's an archer, or it could be a he. I got the idea of Financial Rebellion as a decent name for my book, and then I had to work up to, how do I make it work? How do I get this idea of, then Robin Hood came into my mind. Okay, we've lost our power. How do we get it back? And how do I then bring the elements in together? So this is our logo. We have arrows. We have 5 of them, which I also got ideas when I went to Sherwood Forest to actually discover a bit more about Robin Hood. So that we have our arrows. They're a very important part of the book. It's the beginning of your journey. You need courage. Then you'll need some curiosity. Then you will get some confidence. Then you will collaborate with your professionals. And last of all, and the most important feather on your arrow, is the one of contemplation. So I want you to contemplate your financial information regularly. So that's our arrow. This is what I wanted to demonstrate. So to give the energy to your arrow, you have to flex your bow. And the harder you flex your bow, the more energy you give to your arrow. And so I realized that what I want my reader to do is to really flex their mind, right? We have our principles, those principles I was talking about earlier, they're in the part of the book where I'm asking you to flex your mind to think about accounting differently. And the main message in that one is that accounting is not maths, it's storytelling. So I'm working my way through all of these different things. And then I suddenly realized, and again, not many months ago, that the horse that they rode in the times of Robin Hood, that actually represents your accounting system. It's strong, it works with you, you need to look after it, you need to feed it well, and it will protect you. And the horse has lots of other symbolism and I have written quite a bit in the book about it, but I have forgotten, and totems and things like that. The horse is a very important part of many, many, many cultures.
Interestingly enough, in many shamanic traditions, the horse represents freedom.
Freedom, financial freedom.
This book has the potential to change people's lives. And not only the people who read it, but their families, their friends, their communities, because when good people become financially independent and financially free, they change the world, right? So that's what we're here to do. We're here to be the change.
Or our feathers on our arrows. It's just serendipity. Is that one word for it?
Synchronicity.
The universe,
Synchronicity is a good word.
The things that come your way when you least expect it. And actually, I love seeing feathers because they just remind me that the universe has got my back. And sure enough, they're the 5 colours that I wanted to use to represent our business. Before I even realised that it also has our 5 colours. And the 5 colours are also represented by the colours of Australian money.
Cash is king, people.
So we have our $5 note that is this colour. We have our $10 note that is this colour. We have our $20 note that is this colour. Our $50 note, sometimes called a pineapple. And our $100 note. And so in our marketing in the future and in our community, you will see that we use these colours to represent sometimes the transition through to having your full power.
Well, energy flows where attention goes. So if you're sort of focusing your energy around abundance and that kind of stuff, freedom, yeah. Because abundance isn't just money, it's a very small part of it. Abundance is good things showing up all the time in our lives. And that includes freedom.
Yeah. Actually, that it's an important part of the book as well. When we go through our various stages of the book, talking about, some contents, there it is. So in the book, we have the backstory, we have the introduction about moving from powerless to flexing your power. We equip ourselves to fight with our bows and arrows and our horse. We engage in our battle, and then we reveal our financial power by looking at our own financial statements. There's actually an exercise to do in there. It's tactile. I would actually want you to get a folder and paper and stuff like that. But the last part is part 5, flexing your power. Before you flex your power, I want you to try to remember to reflect on why you are in business in the first place. And make sure that your business is serving you, because sometimes, and actually way too often, the business is no longer serving the business owner. So the most important thing about being in business is making sure that you are heading towards freedom with that business, that you are not continuing in a business that is not serving you for any longer than you have to. Another thing I'd like to just mention, we'll be opening up a community, a free community, in the very near future. And I'd love you to let me know if you'd be interested in coming into a free community. In fact, I want to make it really safe space for people to talk about their financial information and to learn from each other. And it's probably like a gated community, really. We'll need to make sure that the people in there are only business owners and that that they're in a comfortable space to be able to be vulnerable enough to ask questions. It's quite difficult. It's been a complex journey, as many businesses are, to find the right product to market fit.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need more help than others for different reasons, and it just pushes me forward to keep doing what I'm doing and keep looking. And I just kept looking and looking and looking for a way where I could touch the lives of millions, because the ripple effect of the status quo of people not being able to lean into their financials and make really good decisions based on those financials, the ripple effect of that is massive, because it affects that person. Like, business is hard enough. It's up and down like a roller coaster most days. And I don't think the rest of the world really understand just how complex it is to be a business owner. Often people think business owners are rich. Usually they're not. They're not rich. Then, sometimes they're barely scraping through, and we're just not aware enough of that.
What we're talking about here is not so much how much money we leave in our bank accounts when we leave the earth. It's about the legacy that we leave. It's the imprint that we leave in the lives of people. And, 100 years from now, 50 years from now, someone can pick this book up and it will mean something. We're leaving a legacy. We're doing the hard yards to make the world a better place. It's inspiring people in their journeys, because, people set out in business to make a difference. A lot of people set out in business to make a whole pile of money, but that's really not what it's about. It's about the freedom. It's about the lifestyle that we should have by having our own businesses. Not so much about the zeros attached to the numbers. It's about what that means for us and the leverage we get out of that.
In this era of accounting, where, for example, financial planning has come in. I talk in the book about the siloing of our industry, and there are some really crooked, or not even crooked, but there are some financial planners out there that just only will focus on really high wealth individuals.
Oh, wow. Look at that. May the 4th. I love the wisdom of Star Wars. Now, Liz did this post, or Liz's team did this post the other day, and May the 4th, for those of you that don't get it, May the 4th, it's Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And Yoda's most famous quote, I think, is very relevant at the moment. Do or do not, there is no try. And that actually comes from Buddhist philosophy.
So if you've got any value from watching it, or you know any business owners at all that might benefit from all the messages that we have in this financial rebellion about reclaiming your financial power and never being scared of your financial information again, then pass the information on, and we're hoping that people everywhere will start to learn that it's just your financial power is within you.
All power comes from within. And just on that note, it's easier to say that, and it's easy to make that statement that all power comes from within, but the effectiveness of your power is based on the knowledge that you have within you. So if you aren't doing the work within, and if you aren't equipping yourself with knowledge and wisdom, which comes in the pages of books like Liz's, well then your power is going to be very limited. So, equip yourself, do the work, do the inner work, and that is educating yourself, increasing your knowledge, expanding your awareness, and then you can be truly powerful.
And broadening your mind. So I'm just going to recap one last time before we finish. The reason why we have our horse, our archer on horseback, is the symbolism of Robin Hood, where the power had been, well, in their case, the money and everything, stuff had been taken from the citizens. In this case, the power has been taken from business owners. And it's no one's fault. It's just part of what's happened in the last, this century, really, just since about year 2000. We don't have tactile money anymore. We don't have handwritten books. We don't have a lot of things. And we are encouraged to abdicate our responsibilities. So we want you to get the arrows of courage, curiosity, confidence, I can't remember, we're getting too tired, collaboration, and most importantly, contemplation. We want you to contemplate your financials. In fact, I didn't even use those words about your business wants to speak to you. And the answers are in the story that are in your financial statements. And it really does want to speak to you. It's a bit woo-woo, but that's been my experience when I work with business owners and we dive into the numbers. They speak volumes to those business owners. And then, of course, our horse represents our accounting system. You can make it work really hard for you and save you lots of time and money.
Thank you to everybody who participated and made this such a really fun time. I enjoyed it. It was nice. Hanging out with Liz always is. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Signing off at 6 p.m. Oh. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And I look forward to updating all of you on the direction of the rebellion. It's exciting things coming, new websites, new stuff, and hopefully helping millions of people. Bye, everybody.
See you all.
Financial rebellion.
Fist pumps, everyone.
Bye.